Hello and welcome to all the viewers of Bharat TV and Bharat FM. Today, we have two distinguished guests from Cincinnati, Ohio. They are standing for the local elections for the city of Mason. We have with us Dr. Kim Singh, a licensed professional clinical counselor based in Cincinnati, Ohio. She holds a Master of Arts from Xavier University and a Doctor of Education from the University of Dayton. Dr. Singh works with adolescents, adults, and seniors and offers therapy. And she's also active in community education and advocacy. And she has been awarded for her work for underserved populations. And she's currently a candidate running for Mason City Council, as I mentioned. And we also have Murali Swami, a well-known figure in the greater Cincinnati area, particularly in Mason, Ohio, from where he's standing for the elections. And he's a seasoned business executive with global experience across the United States, India, and Singapore. And currently, he's serving as Vice President of Enterprise Sales at Vertex Computer Systems. And beyond his professional life, Murali is deeply involved in his community. He has lived in a Mason, Cincinnati area for nearly 30 years. He's a father of two, an active volunteer, and a passionate advocate for civic engagement. His campaign, Murali for Mason, emphasizes education, public safety, and inclusive community development. A very, very warm welcome to both of you, Murali Swamiji and Dr. Kim Singh.
Thank you, Anjali.
We are delighted to have you on the Bharat TV studio. So without wasting any more time, let me start with the first question. What brought you to Mason and what inspired you to run for office? So who wants to go first? How about ladies first, Dr. Kim?
Sure. So I currently work for the Warren County Board of Developmental Disabilities. And prior to my work with Warren County, I was with Hamilton County Developmental Disability Services. I was living in Fairfield at the time. So as you can imagine, pretty long commute either direction. So at the time I had decided to, finally just kind of settle in Ohio. And so I was looking for something a little more permanent. Mason, I grew up in Westchester, so Mason was always kind of next door, always kind of felt like home to me anyway. I really appreciated the diversity in Mason. We have a large Indian American population here. So it kind of felt like a home away from home. And so that was always very comforting to me. And so that's why I chose Mason. As far as my inspiration to run for council, with all of my experience in public service. So I've been in public service for 16 plus years in local government administration. And I've always worked kind of in human services for my entire career. I'm real passionate about advocating for people, for underserved populations, amplifying voices, those that we often silence or kind of we relegate to the margins. My value for service and community really comes from my parents and watching as I was growing up, how much they served our community and how they were always willing to help others, regardless of their own situation, no matter how dire, right? They were always willing to help others. And so I think that's where my value comes from. And I'm looking to, do the same thing with, I think I have a certain level of knowledge and certain skill sets with all my experience now that I want to bring that to kind of a higher level of public service and offer those skill sets to not only the council, but to the community.
So, Dr. Kim, looks like you do have a very strong foundation which has been given to you by your family in public service. It's very great to know that. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that information with us. What about you, Murali Swamiji?
Let me start with saying thank you. We truly appreciate the opportunity to be here with you, with your Bharat media. And
it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to appreciate what Manan Rawal has been doing for years and for the community. He's been very active. So I sincerely appreciate what he does. So in terms of why Mason and what brought me to Mason, my wife and I, with our kids, were living in a suburban city called Milford, Ohio, where we built our first ever home, and we lived there for several years. We started as a young family, and then we had kids. And when our daughter went to school in Milford, she got to fourth grade, and Milford schools had a gifted program for her, but it wasn't as comprehensive as Mason. So my wife and I chose Mason because of its excellent schools to begin with. But not only that, it has this very strong community values and family-friendly atmosphere in the suburban areas within Cincinnati area. So over the years, we have seen the city grow, not just in size, but in the richness of its diversity, because of a lot of employers that have offices here in Mason bring in people all over the world, and it truly gives the kids the opportunity to grow up in a very diverse area compared to what you generally see in Ohio.
So let me continue with the next question with you, Emoli Swamiji. Looks like Mason City is very diverse and it's very good for kids. So which local issues are you most focused on addressing in such a diverse community?
I decided to run for the office because I want to give back to the city that has given so much to me and my family. And I believe that I could bring in a perspective to city council that is based on my background, based on my experience, that would be different. I'll focus on inclusive growth, encouraging resident participation, and making thoughtful decisions for the long-term health of our city. In terms of my priorities for local policies, my priorities are rooted in connection and growth. Primarily, first, I want to increase the civic participation. We need more residents aware of and engaged in how our city operates. And then we also want to bring in development, but without losing the culture and fabric of Mason. So those are a couple of things that come to my mind as why I primarily made this decision.
Those are some great thoughts, bringing in culture and bringing in modernization without losing our roots, right? Maintaining the culture. I think this is great thought, but we'd like to hear from you also, Dr. Kim. Which are some of these local issues that you would like to focus on?
Yeah, so similar to Murali, we realized over this little bit of time that we've been working together that our campaigns are pretty similar, right? While we are very different, even in our own cultural backgrounds, our platforms are pretty similar. So my focus is really, I want to focus on the arts and culture aspect of what our city council does and promotes for our community. Over a quarter of our population is made up of people of color, but there's never been a single person of color on our council. And so that's why that demographic balance is really important to me. I think when we have those different perspectives, we have fresh perspectives, we have new voices that show up. We know from, studies and things that have been done that type of work actually we have better outcomes when we're serving communities, and we better solve problems, and we better face challenges as a community and as a city for the people in our city. And so that's kind of what I want to focus on, and as well as, of course, engaging more of the community. I think that culture is kind of the through line. I think when we're having conversations, when we're sitting down with people and we have, we're curious and we have, some cultural humility. And I think when we get to know each other kind of on that basis, it's very hard to then dislike anybody, right? And I think I want to bring more of that, promote more of that in our community.
Yes, of course, inclusiveness and then that sense of belonging without losing our cultural roots. I think that is the key area where both of you are focusing. So let me ask you this question, Dr. Kim. What specific steps would you take to promote transparency, accountability, inclusivity in city governance? Because it looks like these three things will become very important where you have such a diverse population and given the key areas that you two want to focus on.
Yeah. Well, transparency is one of my biggest things, right? I want to make sure that one of the things I want to potentially introduce as a city council member is when our city council members are making decisions on the things that are in front of them, I feel like it's important to have them provide an explanation for their vote or how they decided or how they understood the issue. I think it's important for, the constituency to see and to understand that they have seen and understood what the issue is. That they've taken in, different perspectives, that they have critically analyzed something, looked at it from all, perspectives and come to an understanding or a decision that fits for most people. Mm-hmm. As far as accountability, one thing that I think I've done very well throughout my career. Anybody that currently works with me could probably tell you that I'm the person in the room that will say the thing that needs to be said that nobody else wants to say, right? Or I will ask the uncomfortable conversation. I'm used to, and I'm sure Murali is too, kind of being one of one in any group of people I'm in, whether it's my job, whether it's the school I'm at, or whatever it is, right? So that's something that is practiced in me. So I want to make sure at all costs that we are not doing harm to anybody and that we are considering all of the populations that something may affect, including individuals with disabilities, people of color, all of our minority populations, and ensuring that we are doing no harm.
Excellent. And what steps would you take? What are your thoughts on promoting transparency, accountability, inclusivity? Murali Swamiji.
Yeah, I believe that all three are very critical for very successful and thriving cities. And I believe communication is the key. Mm-hmm. One of my goals is to make city processes more accessible. That means simplifying how information is shared and how feedback is received. I would also advocate for structured listening forums where residents can voice ideas and concerns before decisions are made. Inclusion to me means both representation as well as involvement. So I would work to ensure every resident is part of the conversation. Above all, I want to cultivate a culture where decisions are made with a clear rationale and in collaboration with the people they affect, right? Because that is the key. And I believe that if we could do this improvement in terms of communication, I think it would help us achieve all three goals that we have.
That's a very, very relevant point that you made. Communication is the key. So all these things that the two of you are trying to achieve, definitely the bottom line is communication, because when people are present with from such diverse background, having a smooth process for communication and Murali Swamiji, you mentioned structured listening forums. I think this is something that the audience really needs to know. Structured listening forums can be very, very helpful. So sure. Yes, definitely. And your definition of inclusion, which you mentioned, it's information plus involvement.
Right, representation and yeah, absolutely. Because both are important. One doesn't come without the other.
Without the other. Yeah, absolutely. And same with you, Dr. Singh, because without all these things and without being the bold and the honest person that you are, you will not be doing justice and you will not be able to represent your community. So excellent points that you both have brought about. So the last question, let me ask you, Dr. Singh, if elected, what is one key change that you would prioritize?
Yeah, I think for me, again, I think it's going to be focused on that engagement from the community, right? And similar to what kind of Murali was saying, it's also the education and the information that we're sharing with the community. I think it's important for them to understand the procedures and the processes, but also, to have stake in the things that are happening, because, when we have to be able to have everybody at the table to ensure that whatever things we're doing as city council, as a city, that it works for everybody, right? And we have to allow people the opportunity to speak for themselves, because often when we try to speak for them, we get it wrong. And so I think it's that engagement piece. Again, I want to look at kind of our city calendar and the way that we promote things. I've been out there talking to some of the small business owners, because that naturally is, not my strong suit. That's more Murali's kind of area, right? Business, commerce. But I think that's the one thing that sets me apart from our current city council members is I don't have a business interest in Mason, right? So I'm learning and I'm understanding those things. But yeah, like getting out there into the community and talking to the community about what is important to them, the things that they want to see. Getting them engaged in the, civic process, as Murali mentioned also. And then looking at our city calendar to see how are we promoting our different small businesses? How are we promoting kind of the different cultures? Like something that we can celebrate, the diversity, the inclusivity of our city, so that everybody can feel like home in their home, right? Because as Murali mentioned, we have world-class companies that are here. We want to retain our talent. We want to retain those people who bring their skills and their assets to our city. And they, should feel valued just the same as everybody else.
Yeah, so engagement from the community, that's going to be your key focus. What about you, Murali Swamiji?
If you had a chance to see our campaign website, muraliformason.com, you would notice our slogan is "Our City, Our Responsibility," which is what one of the key drivers for me, which is to instill our city, our responsibility mindset into every single resident of a Mason. So in that line with that objective, if I had to choose one key change that I would work on, it would be creating more channels for meaningful resident engagement. When people feel connected to their city, they take pride in it and contribute more fully, whether it is through digital tools or youth advocacy councils or neighborhood listening sessions. I want to build a civic culture where every resident knows their voice matters. Long term, this change supports better policy, stronger community bonds, and more vibrant Mason for all of us. And that is what I would work on actively.
Wonderful. So you are also very much interested in more community engagement, and you're going to involve digital tools. That's awesome. That is something that I'm sure the residents would be looking forward to. So once again, thank you, Dr. Kim Singh and Murali Swamiji. We wish you all the best for the upcoming elections. And we are really very happy that you took some time out from your busy schedule for this communication and for this dialogue and interesting conversation that we had at this stage of Bharat TV. Thank you once again, and wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Anjalee. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Appreciate you doing this.